Hello, it's Jim from the Monopoly Project. We're off on another one of our floating book reviews. We're on the Monopoly Project yacht. Of course, every successful real estate mogul has a yacht, and this is the Monopoly Project yacht. We're here on Bella Vista Lakes. We're headed over to the clubhouse where they're having the Friday night social hour. Unfortunately, it's the Bikini Girls' day off, so it's just me. But today we're going to review two books. Number one is True Colors by Alaric Bond. I kept mispronouncing his name in the last book review, so I apologize to him. To Alaric, don't send your brother James after me. And then the second book is The Entrepreneur's Journey by Christopher Mirabili and Hamilton Lord. We had previously reviewed one of their books. It's on angel investing, and now they have a third co-author, Joseph Mandato. So anyway, we're going to do a pretty quick review of these books because the first one, because I've read the first two. I've read the first two in the series, and the second one, like I said, we reviewed one of his books on angel investing. So starting with True Colors, Alaric Bond. Alaric is a name of a famous ancient, a Germanic king from the Middle Ages. So in any case, like I told you before on the other ones, I'm a big fan of British naval fiction, especially set in the Napoleonic War era. And so this is the fifth or sixth or maybe eighth or 10th series of books that I've read. And there's some of them are real famous, like, the O'Brien series and, of course, Horatio Hornblower and all those. This is a really worthy successor to those. Like I said, I really like it because they don't have the standard process of where they follow the captain as he rises through the ranks, whether he's real poor or real rich at the beginning, and whether he's a nobleman or a son of a nobody. Usually that's the plot device in the book, is to follow him as he rises through the ranks. And so in this one, they just follow a number of different characters, and you never know who's going to die and who's going to not die. As an example I gave before is in the first book, there's a very good captain I really liked, and he dies at the beginning of the battle, so he's gone. So anyway, this third one, I've really liked it. Also, I think he's gotten even better in plot development. There's a whole lot of action packed into this book, and it ends in the Battle of Camperdown, where the ship and all the fictional characters take a role in what actually happened, and they actually take a role that really happened. They observe the Dutch fleet as it sails out, and they shadow it, and then at the end, of course, they get in some action that I don't think really happened, but that doesn't matter. So I really liked it. I'm going to keep reading it, and one of the things I really liked in this version of the book, at the very end, he puts a list of nautical terms, because obviously they use a lot of nautical terms and slang from that time, and so I really liked it, and I had fun just reading through the list of slang and nautical terms and this and that. Although I did have the one criticism is that, for example, the very first entry is able seaman, one who can hand reef steer, well acquainted with the duties of a seaman. Well, you think you know what hand reef and steer means. So I went and looked that up, and of course it's not in the list. So I was obviously the list can't be totally comprehensive. So I mean, I'll give him some credit there. So, but the other one, another example where he says, which is sort of interesting, doxy, shore-based prostitutes or temporary wives, usually very attractive, as by tradition do they not pay the ferryman's fare unless they find a fancy man, in quotes. And again, I looked up fancy man and I couldn't find it, so it's sort of interesting. And then there was another example where in the book one of the characters uses the term bent, which is not in the list, and I looked it up, and you could tell from the context and the character who said it that it's slang for a derogatory term for a woman. But again, bent's not in his list there, so it's sort of hit and miss what he put in there and what he didn't, but that's fine. Like I said, it's very entertaining as it is. Okay, so we'll go on to the entrepreneur's journey. Again, like I said, this was written by the angel investors who this time what they did, the previous book I read, I reviewed, they tell you how to do analysis of angel investing, look at the companies, what do you look at and all that. In this one they tell stories about it, and of course each story highlights a particular characteristic of an angel investment, and they're grouped together in topics, you know, about leadership, exit strategies, timing, and it's well done. And the reason why I'm hesitant is that, for one, I was familiar with some of these stories because they have a website, and you can get a lot of these stories on the website for, in effect, free. So, I mean, is the content good? Yes. The stories are interesting. Can you get it for free from their website? Yes. So I'm not sure you want to pay for this book. And I will make one criticism, is they just don't seem to punch the stories up like you would see in Shark Tank. And obviously Shark Tank is a stage show, it's not, you know, real, and these are real stories. And of course Shark Tank is video and visual, and it's extremely hard for, you know, words to compete with visual, you know, video in this day and age, you know. So I think it would help them to punch it up a little. And then I gotta mention one thing about the intro. And I highlighted it. At the intro here it says, and it's getting kind of windy here, so I'm finding it hard. I should have marked these, but and now I can't find it. Okay, on page 11 he says, and then I think this is Joseph Mondato writing it, who is an MIT graduate, and a lot of his stories are based on MIT, or based at MIT, or MIT type investments. But he says on page 11, you can see right here, I'll just put it up there so maybe you can see it. He says, arguably MIT is the most prolific university in the world when it comes to entrepreneurship. And of course, being a Stanford graduate, that immediately say, well, I would argue that. And then I went down his list of companies, and he includes Hewlett-Packard, which of course he said, I don't know the connection to MIT with Hewlett-Packard. Hewlett-Packard was started in a garage by Stanford professors in Palo Alto. So turns out that William Packard was an MIT graduate with an MS degree. But in any case, I would, if he were here, I would argue with him that MIT is arguably the preeminent university in startups and foundings. In any case, but those are the two books for today. Again, this is Jim for the Monopoly Project. Thank you. We're pulling up to the clubhouse here.